morning and welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here every single Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I appreciate your patience this morning, as I am a hurtin' gator, as Papa Joe would call it. I've had a sinus infection that's trying to stay with me, wisdom teeth stuff going on, so I appreciate your patience. I appreciate you being here. Nothing like speaking for a living and having your mouth and like throat and stuff be the problem. But I'm battling through it with you because I love what I do and I do what I love, and I appreciate the fact that you come here every week to hang out with me. So, inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, we are here with Papa Joe. Of course, it's a PJ takeover because it is Thursday, and we're going to continue our analysis of Major League Baseball, prepping you for the entire 2025 30-team season here. Okay, all the franchises are being talked about here on the show. We're doing it division by division so you could follow easily. Last week we did the NL West. Today we're doing the NL East and the NL Central. We're also going to talk about rule changes, and PJ talks about his notebook. Well, your boy was at the Syracuse basketball game yesterday, so this is the Syracuse card, and on the back of the card I was writing all my baseball notes. So I was doing double duty yesterday. Got my notes ready to break down these two rule adjustments for 2025 for Major League Baseball, so we'll get into that. A lot of cool stuff coming up with Papa Joe here inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. You're with us up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on youtube.com pardon me, Wake Up Call DT, and on Wake Up Call and facebook.com /Wake Up Call DT, youtube.com /Wake Up Call DT, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So however you're connected with the show, we thank you so much for tuning in inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. And of course, Great Lakes Honda City being my selection for when it comes to vehicles and service. It's Great Lakes Honda City. It's been that way for over a decade. And I implore you to head there today. Let them know that DT sent you, and go and find your next ride at Great Lakes Honda City on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday for sales and service. So make your way over to Honda City, Great Lakes Honda City today, and I thank them so much for everything that they do in our community and appreciate them tremendously. So head out there, and you can get a sneak peek of their inventory by going to greatlakeshondacity.com. With that being said, picture in picture with the man of the hours, and that is Mr. Papa Joe here on the broadcast here, picture in picture with me. We continue our prep for the 2025 Major League Baseball season. We're going to be breaking down the NL East, every team there, the Mets, the Phillies, the Braves, the Nationals, and the Marlins. And of course, in the NL Central, we'll hop to them as well and give you our NL Central analysis. Remember how the Pirates were doing some good things last year and they just kind of fell off? Well, we'll get into the Pirates. We'll also break down inside of that NL Central the Reds, the Cardinals, the Brewers for MT, and those Chicago Cubs. So a lot of great stuff coming up. Mr. PJ, how we doing here this morning?
Good morning, Daniel. I'm sorry you're feeling so poorly, but we'll get through this morning.
Yes, we will. We'll definitely get through it. We'll have some fun with it. I'm going to unleash you on the NL East, but before I do that, I have a little Jaguars surprise for you, PJ. So,
all right.
I don't know if you know this, but there are cards out there in the world that are one of ones. They've only been made once. They will only be made once. There's only one person on the planet that can own them. Well, my buddy from Mother's Cupboard, the owner of Mother's Cupboard, Pete Green, he's been going over to GG Cards and Breaks, and I love when my partners support each other because we are one great family here at Wake Up Call and at Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. So he's been going over to GG Cards and Breaks and collecting his own cards. Well, he said when we were doing a box break, he said, open up a pack from mine. So I opened up a pack, and this card showed up, Brian Thomas Jr., and I said, and it was upside down. So I said, okay, it's either an autograph or a patch card or something like that. And it's his rookie because it's his rookie season. I flipped it over and I said, why is that in cursive? And so it was his card, but I pulled it. And so we made a deal yesterday, and I traded a bunch of cards to bring this home since it's my first one of one that I've ever pulled. So I thought it should come home with me, especially because it's a Jaguar. It is a Brian Thomas Jr. rookie card refractor, one of one in the entire world. It'll never be made again. It's the only one that exists.
All right.
So
I like that.
How about that? And it is not.
I like that.
It is not a cheap penny either. So good stuff. And PJ, you'll be proud of me. I traded 5 cards and spent no money. I got that card without spending $1.
That's okay. You probably gave up some good ones though.
I did. I gave up some really good stuff. I had a Shohei Ohtani rookie in there. I had a lot of stuff that was in there. A little Larry Johnson autograph, but Brian Thomas, I felt like he needed to come home. I felt like he needed to be here with me. So we got Brian Thomas Jr., and it is a one of one. So this is the only one that exists in the world. So Brian Thomas, do not have a sophomore slump. That's what I'm going to tell you. So with that being said, I'm going to unleash PJ in the NL East. Where do you want to start, PJ?
Well, like I usually do, I'm going to go over what happened last year with the Braves.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to transition to what they're doing now.
Okay.
What their subtractions and additions. So it may sound a little confusing, but you'll get it when I'm talking about it. Last year, the Braves, one of the better teams in baseball, they were 89 and 73. They had it all. They had pitching, offense, defense. They just incredible team. I don't know why they didn't go past the Phillies, but I always say pitching and defense is the name of the game, and they certainly had it, but they did come up a little short against a really tough Philly team. Well, Atlanta is being led by Marcell Ozuna. If you remember, right? I talked about him all the time last year, every week bringing up my stats.
Yeah.
He finished with 39 homers and 104 RBIs and hit a cool 302. Sensational player. We had Matt Olson, another slugger, 24 homers, 98 RBIs, hitting a cool 247, which isn't too good. But Austin Riley, another slugger, 19 homers, 56 RBIs. He had 256.
Yeah.
Orlando Arcia had 17 homers, 46 RBIs, hitting a little bit over the Mendoza line at 218. Not too good, but he's a hell of a player. Michael Harris, good all-around utility guy, 16 homers, 48 RBIs, and a 264 average. That doesn't sound like a lot for y'all, but they hit a lot of homers and they scored a lot of runs.
Yeah. Now,
when we get to the pitching side, that's where they really excelled last year. And they're not going to be as good as this year as they were last year, and I'll tell you why. Let's talk about Chris Sale first. National League Cy Young Award winner, 18-3. That's 18 wins and only 3 losses, folks, with a 2.38 ERA. Charlie Morton was 8-10 with a 4.19 ERA. Max Fried, nasty lefty, 11-10, 3.25 ERA. Ray Arnoldo Lopez, 8-5, 1.99 ERA. And then there's Raisel Iglesias, 6-2, 1.95 ERA. That's great because he also had 34 saves.
Yeah.
So not only did the Atlanta hit well, they scored a lot of runs, they pitched extremely well, and at the end of the games, they bring in Iglesias with a knockdown great ERA of 1.95 with 34 saves. Great. Now let's see what happens over the hot stove leave and over the winter. First of all, there's a couple of free agents they still have. They haven't been signed, or they haven't been signed by someone else.
Yeah.
Those are Adam Duvall, an outfielder. He was a slugger too last year, but I don't think they're going to keep him. And Whit Merrifield, another second baseman, offensive outfield guy, jack of all trades. I don't think they're going to sign him either. So both of those guys have got to find jobs. Now let's talk about the acquisitions. A real good one, Jurickson Profar, came from the Rangers. Big deal.
Yeah.
This guy has bounced around the leagues, but he's excellent at any position he plays. He's also a switch hitter. He's as good as it gets. Going to really solidify the Braves lineup. And they bring in Brian De La Cruz on a 1-year deal. Didn't follow much of Brian, but I'm sure he's a utility player also. The Braves like to move players around. I guess you know that. They're interchangeable, these guys. They're just good players. I mean, now the subtractions, that's where it's going to hurt. Max Fried, who you just heard me say with an 11-10 record, 3.25 ERA. Well, he slipped over to the Yankees on a huge deal, several $1 million deal. The Braves are really going to miss him. They lost Jorge Soler, a trade with the Angels. Just an outfielder that hit well, runs well. This is a hurt one too. Travis Denard, a catcher, caught all the Braves games last year mostly. Did a great job. He goes to the Angels on a trade, as far as free agent contract. Charlie Morton, you just heard me talk about him. He's going to the Orioles. I beg your pardon, Orioles.
Yeah.
So now you have the two pitchers from last year's strong staff, Max Fried and Charlie Morton, are not going to be with the Braves this year. Now we go down to A.J. Minter, a left-handed pitcher, nasty guy. They're going to miss him too. He goes to the Mets in the division. Don't want to face him. Third baseman Gio Urshela goes to the Athletics. They're going to miss him too. Outfielder Ramon Laureano, man, this guy was good. I hated to see the Braves lose this guy. He's going to the Orioles, who don't need much help at all because they're one of the best teams in baseball also.
Yeah.
Right-handed pitcher John Brebbia going to the Tigers. Don't know much about John. Right-handed pitcher Luke Jackson, I do know about him. He's going to the Rangers. So the Atlanta didn't hurt their offense much. They still got their sluggers. They still have a decent pitching staff, but they're really, really, really going to miss Max Fried and Charlie Morton. You just don't replace guys like that, especially Fried, who comes to the left and he's a little nasty guy. All right.
Yeah, so you take a look at that and you look at the Braves, like you said, the guys that are missing, that are no longer there, Max Fried and so on and so forth. I just put up a poll on our X where you could follow us there, and that is former Twitter, @CallDT, CALLDT. Who will win the NL East in the 2025 MLB season, Mets, Phillies, or the Braves? You could pick the Marlins. You can also pick the Nationals if you like. You could just write in those, but your three choices here that I think most people are going to go with, Mets, Phillies, Braves. Who will win the NL East? So as we're discussing this, we have that poll up for you. And PJ, like you said, the Braves have different guys. They have different firepower. And obviously you always talk about keeping the ERA down, and that's something that they've been able to do. But now that they have lost some of that firepower, as you had stated, they've lost some of those guys that are going to help them in that respect. Do you think that the Braves can challenge the Phillies and the Mets, including losing one of their guys to the Mets?
I think they will. They'll probably score more runs than probably anyone in the league, although the Mets are pretty well loaded this year. It still all comes down to offense and defense and pitching. And it's going to be hard for Atlanta to even get to 85 wins. It's going to be hard for them. But I'll tell you, one team's not going anywhere, and that's the Miami Marlins. They're next on the list here. This isn't going to take long, folks, because there's not much to the Miami at all.
Okay.
They were 62-108 last year. That's 108 wins or 100 wins, 62 wins, 100 losses, because they had a 162 game schedule. Hitting, they had Jake Berger at 29 homers, 76 RBIs. He hit 250. You had Jesus Sanchez, 18 homers, 64 RBIs, 252 average.
Yeah.
And then Josh Bell, who they really, really should never have lost, 14 homers and 49 RBIs, and hit 239. Pitching, Edwin Cabrera was 4-8, 4.95 ERA. Ryan Wethros, 5-6 with a 3.63 ERA. Declan Cronin, 3-4, 4.35 ERA. You see where I'm going with this? We're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Although Tanner Scott was 6-5, 1.18 ERA, he had 18 saves. Now, obviously, if they played into the later innings, bring in Tanner Scott, they had a good chance of winning the game. He's a good, solid reliever. But the Miami just never had anything last year. For them to lose 100 games easily, it's going to be between the Rangers. It's going to be between the Marlins and Colorado is who's got the worst team this year. It's terrible. All right, let's see what they've done so far this year.
Yeah.
Free agents, there's nothing left in the team. Whatever they want to do, they're done with. Let's talk about the acquisitions. Right-handed pitcher Cal Quantrill on a 1-year deal. Good, solid starter, but, doesn't blow my skirt up like Mary says. Yeah. Infielder Eric Wagaman, a one-year deal. First baseman Matt Mevers, trade with the Cubs. Folks, I don't know anything about those players except for Quantrill. It doesn't help them. Now, there are subtractions. Jesus Luzardo, the trade with the Phillies, and first baseman, third baseman Jake Berger, the trade with the Rangers. I mean, where are you going with this? I mean, if they win 100, if they lose 100 games this year,
yeah,
it'll be a miracle that's not 110. This team in Colorado are absolutely horrible. And I hate to say it for all the fans out there, but hey, I got to call it like I see it. The numbers don't lie, and neither does the acquisition and subtractions. So,
yeah. So looking at the Miami Marlins, like you said, with the Miami Marlins, not a lot to write home about. And a team, like you had stated, that has lost over 100 games, trying not to lose over 100 games this season. Right, Miami is beautiful, beautiful stadium, right? And they redid their logo. But when they were the Florida Marlins, they were better. When they were the Florida Marlins, remember they won the World Series. And the Florida Marlins have a farm team. I don't know if it's still the same farm team, but the Manatees. And I went to one of those Manatees games. I went with my mom, my dad, my Uncle Bill, and my Aunt Maureen because we thought that it was game day for the Marlins. So we showed up and they said, no, this is for the Manatees. So we ended up watching the Manatees that day, and I got a foul ball while they were getting ready for the game. I got a foul ball that has a bunch of signatures on it, was able to bring that home. So that's really, really cool. And yeah, I mean, I remember that. I remember back when, you put on a Marlins hat and people were supporting the Marlins and seeing what the Marlins can do. And the Marlins now, it's quiet. And being the Miami Marlins, since they've changed the name, they've fallen off the face of the earth. Maybe they should change it back to Florida Marlins. Maybe they should go back to having the Marlin logo and not just having that like swoosh looking thing or like above the M. But yeah, I mean, this is a team who struggles. It's a team that you want to see get better. It's a team that you want to see advance themselves. But unfortunately, PJ, this is one of the franchises where, they've lost some guys. They've lost some names over the years, and they're not bringing any in. And so that's the issue. Who's the leader of the Marlins right now?
There isn't any. There isn't any leader. Yeah. All right, now we'll go to the team that will probably, by all the pundits out here, thinks that are going to sweep the East, and that's the Mets.
Okay.
Because the Mets have seriously added some firepower. But let's talk about last year first. They were 89-73. The Mets hitting had Pete Alonso, who we're all familiar with, 34 homers, 88 RBIs, 240 batting average. Francisco Lindor, an all-around great player, every year mentioned in the most valuable player talk. 33 homers, 91 RBIs, 273 average. He also sold 29 bases. Mark Biento, another good player, 27 homers, 71 RBIs, hit 266. Brandon Nimmo hit 23 homers, 90 RBIs, only hit 224. Nimmo, I'm used to hitting a lot more than 224. Yeah. He's at least a 260, 270 guy, but he hit a lot of RBIs. JD Martinez, 16 homers, 69 RBIs, 235 batting average. That's pretty good right there, and it's going to get a lot better too once we're done with the synopsis today. In pitching, we got Sean Manaea, was 12-6, 3.47 ERA. Now, as of yesterday, Sean Mania had a problem with one of his arms. I say his left arm, I should say. And it looks like he's not going to make his early starts. So he's going to have to be on the DL for a while. Not for very long, I don't think. Luis Severino used to be with the Yankees. 11-7, 3.91 ERA. Jose Quintana, 10-10, 3.75 ERA. Dave Peterson was 10-3, 2.90 ERA.
Yeah.
And Edwin Diaz was 6-4 with a 3.52 ERA. Why is he important? Because he had 20 saves. Not very good, but for an ERA for a reliever, but he stopped the blood from flowing, so we got to go from there. Now, let's go to see what they've done.
Yeah.
They still have some free agents on their roster, although this situation is fluid. So these things change almost daily. As of now, infielder Jesus Iglesias, they still have. J.D. Martinez, they still have. Right-handed pitcher Phil Maton, left-handed pitcher Jose Quintana, left-handed pitcher Brooks Relay. They still have these guys if they want to sign them. They still are free agents, so. Now the acquisitions. And the big one, of course, is Juan Soto from the Yankees. A 15-year, multi-million-dollar deal. I don't even talk about it because it's so filthy.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, the money they're throwing around. But, they're New York, you're in the Mets, you're in New York City, you got a good program with your cable people. I mean, so if you got the money, you spend it. And this guy certainly spent it. Mr. Cohen.
Yeah.
Hey, he's no slouch. This guy can play it. He plays it good. He's bringing in some serious players here. Juan Soto, we know that, came from the Yankees. First baseman Pete Alonso didn't go anywhere. He signed a 2-year deal, I think, for $75 million or something like that. So he's going to stay with the Mets another couple of years. Right-handed pitcher Clay Holmes used to be with the Yankees.
Yeah.
He's now with the Mets. Got left-handed pitcher Sean Mania. I just talked to you about him. They re-signed him to a 3-year deal. Right-handed pitcher Frankie Montez. They got him on a 2-year deal. Left-handed pitcher A.J. Minter, nasty guy. Got him on a 2-year deal. Outfielder Jesse Winker, re-signed. This guy's a jack of all trades. Can play any position but pitcher. Outfielder Jose Siri, S-I-R-I.
Yes.
Trade with the Rays. Good player. Right-handed pitcher Ryan Stanek. Got him on a 1-year deal. Right-handed pitcher Justin Hageman, 1-year deal. Infielder Jared Young, a 1-year deal. Right-handed pitcher Griffin Canning, 1-year deal. And right-handed pitcher Drew Smith. Now, they signed all these guys. Yeah. That's almost a starting lineup for any other team. Okay, I mean that's incredible that they've got this kind of. Mr. Cohen will spend. All right, let's go over to subtractions, and then we can talk about the acquisitions more.
Yeah,
they lost right-handed pitcher Luis Severino. You heard me say it. He's 11-7, 3.91 ERA. Well, he's going to go to the Athletics. Outfielder Harrison Bader, go.
Gators.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Harrison Bader. Harrison Bader. I hated to see this guy too, but he's with the Twins now. Right-handed pitcher Adam Adolfino. He's with the Red Sox.
Yeah. So,
let's talk about it. You got Juan Soto with Pete Alonso in the lineup. You got some serious players. This team certainly will win 100 games. That's for sure. Will 100 wins win the division? Don't rightly know, but we'll talk about that when we get to the Phillies.
Yeah, and the question becomes, can this Mets team, I mean, you look at everything they have, you look at all the firepower they have, you look at everything that they brought in, like you said, all the acquisitions that they made, putting together a lineup with the acquisitions themselves. The Mets are spending money. The Mets got money to spend. They got an owner that wants to spend the money, and they're out here putting it out there, giving opportunities to Juan Soto. Juan Soto, I think at the end, with all the incentives of his deal and whatnot, certain things that can happen, it's going to be $800 million, so it's going to be even higher. And they bring back Pete Alonso. And, my prediction was Juan Soto going to the Mets and Pete Alonso staying with the Mets. So they would be able to have them both, and they do. And I think it worked out for the Mets that whatever the market, and I feel bad for Pete Alonso, but whatever the market was for him, obviously maybe it wasn't what his agent thought or what he thought, because they allegedly last offseason gave him a deal, and he said no. And then he played out the entire season, and they didn't extend. And then we got to the end of the season, and he's a free agent, and there wasn't any kind of big talk about Pete Alonso and teams that were offering hundreds of millions of dollars, and so now he's staying with the Mets. So it works out, right? I mean, it works out for the Mets that Pete is a guy who's going to be there for them, and that Juan Soto is a part of this too. You know, they're putting together something special with the New York Mets. But the question becomes, PJ, I mean, does this team, I don't want to say do they have to make the World Series, because obviously they got to go through the Dodgers and whatnot, but is this the best put together team of the Mets that you've seen in a long time? I know back in the 80s, obviously they had a great lineup and a great team, but in the 21st century, we're in 2025, so in 24 plus years of the 21st century, is this the best Mets team that you've seen?
I'd have to say yes.
Okay.
One thing you say about these owners of these teams, most of the owners, especially on the East Coast, they're investment bankers. They've made multi-million dollars over the years. They know what to do with the money. They seem to have a sixth sense to do that. This team could be scary, really scary, but they're going to have to pitch. So I don't see anything. I don't see anything that sticks out where they can. They're probably going to have to outscore teams 11-8, 7-6, and 12-9, things like that. To answer your question, really, I go back a long way with the Mets. Doc Gooden and all those guys. I'd probably say, pitching wise, they don't stand up. Hitting wise, absolutely. Yeah. This team is much better than any Mets team we've seen.
Well, and that's the thing is it's the pitching rotation, right? It's the ability. It's something that across town the Yankees have struggled with, where the Yankees have been so good, but they didn't have the rotation. They had one ace, they had one or two guys, but they didn't have the true rotation that they needed to withstand. And we saw it in the World Series. We saw it against the Dodgers, right? There was moments for the Yankees, and if they had their ace out there, then they could get some things done. But, and I know we'll get to the Yankees coming up here within these next couple weeks, but the New York Yankees, just for a moment, as we look to the Bronx and the Mets are in Queens, so we look at these two boroughs, the Yankees struggled with the fact that you have Garrett Cole, and that game one, right? Game one, playing really well against the Dodgers. What do? Something you can't stand, something I can't stand. They take out their ace, who's doing really well, who's like 7 innings in. He's doing fine, and they take him out, and they lose the game. Freddie Freeman ends up banging a homer and sending everybody home for the day, and that moment kind of made you feel like they're going to win the whole series, because certain moments stick out like that historically when you follow sports like you and I do. So they didn't have the rotation, the Yankees, but they also didn't have those middle pieces, like innings 4 through 7 or innings 4 through, like between their starter and their closer, they didn't have anybody that scared the Dodgers. So when we talk about the Mets and we discuss their rotation, also that like kind of middle ground of the Mets, right? The guys that would come in, the relief pitchers for a couple innings, for 3 innings, for, innings 4, 5, and 6, or 6, 7, and 8, or whatever that may be. Do you think the Mets have any depth at pitching when they put in those guys that can be their relief pitchers? Is there anybody there that you think is dangerous, so to speak? Because that's one of the gaps that I think that the Yankees have across town in the Bronx. Do the Mets have that in Queens as well? Are they missing not only rotational guys, but are they missing those tweeners between the starter and the closer? Are they missing those guys in between?
That's a good question. I can't think of any, and my research right here tells me that there's not anything there that tweaks me too. Peterson is a good pitcher. He's he's a spot starter sort of like. So if they ever get in a pickle, they could probably use him in the middle innings. I'll tell you what's happened over the years, and all baseball fans out there that are my age are going to probably agree with me, is that the managers have certainly ruined the game for pitchers. I mean, it's not unlike a manager to win a game 6-5 and have 5 or 6 pitchers come in a game. The starting pitcher maybe will get 5 innings and maybe get the win or the loss.
Yeah.
After that, it's inning here, two-thirds of an inning there, an inning and a quarter. You know, and people, they want to know why our American pastime isn't American pastime anymore. It's too friggin' long and it's too boring. I mean, let the players play, just like in football. I mean, let the players play. And now we got more rules. We got rules. You know, it's just it's upsetting. I can't stand it when, say, like a guy like Garrett Cole has got a 3-0 lead. He's in the 7th inning. He's pitching lights out. He struck out 10 guys. He's throwing 100 pitches. Oh, that's it right there. Yeah. That's it. He can't go more than 100 pitches, and out he comes. You know, the managers, some of these guys, the managers are ex-players, and they should know better. But they should know what the fans want. They want to see Garrett Cole go 9 innings. They want to see him throw a 2-hit shutout. They want to see guys do that. When we talk to the Yankees next week, you know, we're going to talk about that. Now, with Mania being hurt, that's going to hurt the Mets an awful lot.
Yeah. And, you know, one of the guys that comes to mind, and he comes to mind also because I have his rookie card, so I'd like to see him do well, is Kodai Senga. So what are your thoughts on Kodai Senga? Can he be an ace? Has he given you has he shown you something that makes you say they can lean on this guy, this can be their guy, he's the one that can be a threat in a series that's 3 games, 5 games, 7 games? You don't want to face Kodai Senga. Is he that guy? Can he be that guy? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think he's talented, certainly. I think they're going to have to put him in a situation and see how he does.
Yeah.
Some of these guys, some of the old timers like Justin Verlander and those guys, Max Schleicher, you know, they're in their 40s and they can still throw 5 or 6 innings. Yeah. The young guys, they don't want to ruin their arms. I don't, you know, I would say he'd be marginal to be effective. I don't think that the Mets can count on him for anything more than regular mop-up duty or something like that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what he could do. I got hopes for Kodai Senga, so I'm hoping that things work out. Also looking at McGill, I have McGill's rookie card as well. Really, this is just PJ. Which one of my rookie cards do I need to keep? That's what this show is about. So when you look at McGill, what do you think about him? He's a young guy there for them.
Yeah. McGill's got a lot of talent, and he looks like he can crack the lineup. But look, it's going to be hard for the Mets to keep pace with the Phillies, who we're going to talk about in a little while, and the Braves. Look, these 3 teams are really 3 teams, the best teams in baseball, not in the National League, and not only in this Eastern Conference, in the entire baseball. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. We go to the Washington Nationals next. They've made a little noise, not much. We'll go through it. They were 71 and 91 last year. Ouch. Yeah. Hitting wise, they had C.J. Abrams, 20 homers, 65 RBIs, hit 246. Luis Garcia, 18 homers, 70 RBIs, 282. Cal Ruiz, 13 homers, 57 RBIs, 229. Those are the only guys that I could see on the roster last year that made any difference on hitting. There wasn't anything there. Pitching, a little bit different. Derek Law was 7-4 with a 2.60 ERA. Jack Barnes, 8-3, 4.36 ERA. Matt Gore, 10-12, 3.90 ERA. Jake Irvin, 10-14, 4.41 ERA. And then there's Kyle Finnegan, who was 3-8, 3.68 ERA, but he had 38 saves.
Yeah.
Now you know why Washington won 71 games. This isn't a good team. but it's better than it. It was, last year was as good as they could have gotten. This year, I'm not quite so sure. Let's check it out. Nationals have got one free agent. That's Patrick Corbin. He's a left-handed pitcher. This guy's nasty. And this guy hasn't been signed yet. I don't know what's happened. Maybe he's hurt. I don't know if the Nationals are going to try to re-sign him before the season start. But he's a good pitcher. Yeah. Notable acquisitions, we got Nathaniel Lowe, trade with the Rangers, good player. Michael Soroka, got a 1-year deal. He signed. Josh Bell, one of my favorite players. They signed a 1-year deal. Now, Josh Bell, I've talked about him a lot over the last couple of years. He was with the Nationals. He was with Philadelphia. Then he went to Arizona. He went to the Marlins. Now he's with Washington. Back to Washington. Yeah. Josh Bell is what we call a hired gun. This guy, he plays first base flawlessly. He's a big guy, 6'4", 240, switch hitting big guy. Yeah. This guy is valuable to anyone who wants to pay him. And he's a slugger, and he's a good player. Well, I'm glad he's back with the Nationals, but I wanted to see him stay with Arizona before they shipped him off to Miami. But anyway, we got Trevor Williams re-signed for them. That's good, 2-year deal. Yeah. Baldy Chong, he signed a 1-year deal. Infielder, right-handed pitcher Kyle Finnegan. We just talked about him. Re-signed him. Shortstop Ahmad Rosario, a 1-year deal. Right-hand pitcher Jorge Lopez, a 1-year deal. Left-handed pitcher Shinosuke Ogasawaka. How about that one? I screwed it up, didn't I? A 2-year deal. Right-handed pitcher Lucas Sims at a 1-year deal. Subtractions, they lose Robert Garcia as a left-handed pitcher. So actually, the Nationals did not do so bad. Yeah. I mean, they got a bunch of help, but they got Josh Bell back, which will always help you. But I'm not sure their pitching is going anywhere. All in all, their ERA as a team wasn't that good. And being 71 and 91 last year, I think they'd be hard pressed to make 71 and 91 this year.
Yeah, I mean the Nationals. Listen, they're a team. They used to be the parent team for the Syracuse franchise, the Syracuse Chiefs. They became the Syracuse Sky Chiefs. The Syracuse Chiefs. They were connected to their parent team, the Toronto Blue Jays, for I think 32 years or 33 years, somewhere around there. And then the Sky Chiefs that they became went with the Washington Nationals. So we saw Steven Strasburg come through here. We saw Bryce Harper come through here at 18 years old. And now it's the Syracuse Mets, and obviously they're connected with the New York Mets. Wouldn't that be crazy if they were called the Syracuse Mets and they were still connected to the Blue Jays? It would make no sense. But they're finally orange and blue. A city that's been orange and blue with Syracuse University. I said for years it made sense. I was like, why are they not the Mets franchise? Why are they not connected AAA to the Mets? Now they are, so it makes sense. But you spoke about Josh Bell. Josh Bell, like you said, he was a hired gun essentially for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and so he had that for a little while with the team. He did well. The team needed some hitting. Corbin Carroll was in a slump. Josh Bell came in. He did some good stuff. And now he's a Washington National. So, I mean, I think the Nationals, I got a feeling they're going to, I mean, listen, I think the Marlins are going to be at the bottom of this division. I think the Nationals might steal some away. The Nationals could play spoiler. But getting to 70 wins, I don't think that's going to be crazy for the Nationals. We'll see what happens here as they get set and they step forward into the season. But I think 70 wins, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. And they might have in Bryce Harper that people couldn't wait to see. And we knew they were going to come through Syracuse. And to have the opportunity of watching that was really incredible. So do they have one of those guys on the team, PJ? I'm not saying that they have a pitcher that's as good as Strasburg when he was healthy, because Strasburg was incredible. And I feel terrible that Strasburg isn't pitching anymore. Went through a lot of injuries, unfortunately, and cut his time short. He was one of those guys that was just so good, and so many pitches he was taking in right. He'd be on the mound, and he seemed like a guy that wanted to be out there, a guy that would crawl out to pitch, and you had to struggle to get him off of the mound. And then when you look at a guy like Bryce Harper, obviously what he's done for the Phillies has been absolutely incredible, but he started that with the Nationals. Do the Nationals have anybody that, in the words of Mary T, blows your skirt up? Is it Josh Bell?
No.
Fair enough. Fair enough, PJ.
All right, let's get to the Phillies.
Right.
Your man down at your school down there. Hope he's listening, because we'll go through the Phillies here.
Oh, Jerry's been waiting very impatiently to hear us talk about the Phillies.
So. All right. Well, let's talk about last year. 95 and 67. No doubt that they're probably going to win 100 games this year. The class of the league, even though the Mets and the Braves are going to be right behind them. Well, let's see what they did. Kyle Schwarber, one of the best leadoff hitters for a slugger that you've ever seen. Yeah. He had 38 homers, 104 RBIs, and hit 248. Now, Schwarber used to be with the Cubs when he was a little chunky guy. He's slimmed down an awful lot. And you don't normally see sluggers lead off. But they caught fire with this guy. I mean, he's led off now for 3 years in a row, and he's hitting a lot of homers, and he's a player. 23 homers, 86 RBIs, hit 254. Trey Turner, all-around good shortstop, 21 homers, 62 RBIs, hit 295. He coming off of injury last year. He just ended the season really well. And Alex Bone, another slugger, 15 homers, 97 RBIs, and hit 280. Those 5 guys can carry a team. Yeah. And they're probably going to do it this year. Let's go to pitching. Well, you heard me talk about these guys all last year. Those 3 guys, Wheeler, Noah, and Ranger Suarez. They're back again. Zach Wheeler was 16 and 7, 2.57 ERA. Wheeler at times can be unhittable. Aaron Nola, 14 and 8, 3.57 ERA. Ranger Suarez, 12 and 8, 3.46 ERA. Chris Sanchez, 11 and 9, 3.32 ERA. And Jeff Hoffman, 3 and 3, 2.717 ERA, 10 saves. He didn't have to save a lot of games because they were winning so many games. Yeah. Their average ERA was the best in the league. With Wheeler, Nola, and Suarez, 3 of the best starters. They're tough to beat. And I don't know. I don't think there's anything that they're going to surprise anyone this year. Teams have to beat them. I mean, they're that good. Yeah. Let's find out what happens. This year so far, Spencer Turnbull is a right-handed pitcher. He's still a free agent. He has not signed with anyone. He hasn't signed back with the Phillies. Don't know what's happening there. An acquisition, they got left-handed pitcher Jesus Luzardo, trade with the Marlins. Right-handed pitcher Jordan Romano, a 1-year deal. Outfielder Max Kepler, 1-year deal, used to be with the Detroit Tigers. Good player. Marginal player. Right-handed pitcher Joe Ross, 1-year deal. Nothing substantial there. Subtractions, they lost right-handed pitcher Jeff Hoffman, who I just talked about. Yeah. He's going to the Blue Jays. Outfielder Austin Hayes to the Reds, going to hurt him a lot. Right-handed pitcher Carlos Estevez to the Royals. Not a lot of activity for the Phillies on the winter leagues, but they don't need any help. Their hitting is sensational, and they got 3 frontline pitchers that can carry a team. Daniel, these guys, I don't think they're going to back up much at all.
Yeah, and, for the poll that I put out on X, the former Twitter, you can vote on our polls all throughout the year. PJ and I put them up all the time, sometimes weekly. And so who will win the NL East in the 2025 Major League Baseball season? Early voting is for the Phillies that we're talking about. 60% have chosen the Phillies, 20% have chosen the Braves. The other 20 have chosen the Mets. Nobody has written in the Marlins or the Nationals. So the Phillies currently are taking the cake in early voting. You can go to our X, the former Twitter feed. That's at CallDT. That's CALLDT, and vote now who's going to win the NL East. And current early voting has chosen the Philadelphia Phillies. My thoughts here, PJ, can they stop trying to hit? I mean, we know Bryce Harper can hit, but they're trying to hit him, right? Trying to hit him in spring training, PJ. Let's go into this. Down in Florida, and what's going on here in Dunedin, Florida? I think you need to get yourself over there, PJ. You're down in Florida. Go slap some people around. Let them know what's up here. The Phillies, again, are dealing with the fact that This is in spring training. This is spring training, folks. Bryce Harper was struck on his right throwing arm by a 92-mile-an-hour fastball from left-handed pitcher Richard Lovelady. What a name. And so the pitcher caught him on the right tricep just below the shoulder. Harper was removed from the game for a pinch runner, though it was the final inning in the first Grapefruit League game of the year. The first one. Harper appeared unhappy. Really? You think? So, looking at this, manager Rob Thompson said the team thinks Harper is fine and not expected to require further imaging. Quote, we'll check him tomorrow, but it's a contusion in the triceps area. We're not really over concerned at all, end quote. Now, Harper's not going to play today, but he was scheduled to have the game off anyways today, so people don't freak out if they don't see Bryce Harper out there today. The Phillies aren't yet at the point in camp where they're playing their regulars back-to-back days, and Thompson wants to start the infielders together, meaning all of Harper, JT Realmuto, Trey Turner, Alec Boehm, as well as Bryson Stott will not play Thursday after starting on Wednesday because we are so early in spring training. So, I mean, come on now, PJ. Hitting one of the star guys at spring training in the first game of spring training for the Phillies? The hell's going on out there hitting Bryce Harper?
Well, first of all, you have to understand Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper is a plate hugger.
Yeah.
He's a left-handed hitter. He sticks his right foot right up front. He's not going to give in to anyone. He's going to get hit a lot because he won't move off the plate. And if the pitchers aren't careful, he's going to jack one in the right field stands. That's Bryce Harper. He's a very aggressive player, whether he's playing at first base, in the outfield, running the bases, or hitting. A very aggressive player, and he's not going to move off the plate. So subsequently, he gets hit, like yesterday. So if he's trying to send a message, he did. Yeah. He's not moving off the plate.
Yeah, he's not moving on. And you know what? Fearlessness. I would give him credit for that, for having fearlessness to put himself out there to hug the plate, knowing that he could get hit. Dude is not only a good player, but obviously he doesn't live with a lot of fear in his life. I want to look at statistically. When we say these names, it sounds like an all-star team. It just it sounds pretty incredible. Like when you were going through it and we're just talking about the names that are on this team. If we go back here to the 2024 regular season and we talk about some, the bats that are here, Alec Boehm that I said here, looking at the at-bat, so he had 554 at-bats, 62 runs, 155 hits. He had 15 homers, 97 RBIs. Bryce Harper, you know that guy, 550 at-bats in the regular season, 85 runs, 157 hits. He had 30 home runs, 87 RBIs. We're looking at Stott. Stott had 506 at-bats, and he had 65 runs, 124 hits. Let's see what else he had here. He had 21 home runs, 62 RBIs, 11 home runs, 57 RBIs. And then Trey Turner, 505 at-bats, 88 runs, 149 hits, 21 homers, and 62 RBIs. I mean, I'm looking at this. You got Schwarber, Castellanos, Boehm, Harper, Stott, Turner, and I'm not even mentioning their catcher, JT Realmuto. I mean, and Rojas and Sohan and so forth. This Phillies team looks like an all-star team. They look like a team that was put together in the middle of the season for the fans to just watch and have fun. I mean, it's hard to believe that I know a couple of years ago, they said the Phillies aren't going to lose to anybody. They're definitely not going to lose to the Diamondbacks. And then the Diamondbacks went and beat them in a deep series. Because when you look at the statistics and you look at the names that are on this team, your brain tells you that they're a relatively unstoppable team, and they're a team that maybe, just maybe, could fight with the Dodgers for the rights to go. PJ, I mean, when you look at the roster, when you look at who they have, if they were a man down or two men down, they still got all these other guys. If Realmuto isn't out there, and maybe we don't have Stott out there, then you go to Boehm, then you go to Schwarber, you go to Castellanos, you go to Bryce Harper. I mean, I know we talked about how much the Dodgers have, but the Phillies they're stacked. Very stacked.
They are very good, and they were going to score a lot of runs, and they're not going to give up very many runs with the three pitchers I described. Schwarber's another one that will not give the plate up either. Another left-handed pitcher, stands right on top of the plate. If you want to challenge him inside, it's gone. Now the only disadvantage that Harper and Schwarber have, they're left-handed, and if they face a lefty pitcher, they can be struck out with sliders in the outside part of the plate. But they know that, and they dig in a little bit more. If they can get that slider on the outside part of the plate, they'll hit it to left field. Both of these guys are awesome hitters and awesome players. The Phillies are built to win, Daniel. There's no question about it.
Yeah. PJ and I are going to take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios as we prepare you for the 2025 Major League Baseball season by going division by division. Last week we had the NL East. You can go back and watch and listen to that on our many channels, and of course, the NL West. And today we brought you the NL East, and we're bringing you the NL Central. After this fast break, we will jump into the world of the Brewers, the Cardinals, the Cubs, the Reds, and the Pirates. The Brewers are good. The Cardinals used to be good. The Cubs have had some moments. The Reds have only been seeing red because they're pissed off. Their fans are mad they're not doing anything. And the Pittsburgh Pirates, they got talent. And they had moments where people thought maybe this could be a sleeper. But then nothing came of it. What will happen in the NL Central? PJ and I will tell you after this fast break. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees, and as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there was something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in 2007, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There's a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience. It's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really changed the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allowing customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servomation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machine, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean to cup coffee machine. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. In a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I can tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com. And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. I am here picture in picture with Papa Joe inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday for sales and service, and you can get a sneak peek of their new and used vehicle inventory from the Ridgeline to the CRV, the HRV, the Civic, the Accord, and more by going to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. With that being said, PJ and I did the NL East. We're bringing you the NL Central now. Papa Joe, where do you want to start in the Central? A division that's Brewers or bust, typically. Where do you want to start?
You got to start with my Brewers. You got to start with them.
Okay.
Although the last couple of years I haven't been up there to go to any games, not traveling that well, but maybe I can get up there this summer. But anyway, last year the Brewers were 93 and 69. There's one big difference between the Brewers this year and last year is that Craig Counsell was their manager for 10 years or so. Every year he brought them to the playoffs. He's an excellent manager, played the game for years. But he went to the Cubs. The Cubs wound up 83 and 79, but his Brewers, 93-69 with another manager. So they got the players. They got some players, not all of them. Let's talk about them. Yeah. Willie Adames, one of my favorite players ever in Milwaukee, hit 32 homers, 112 RBIs, and hit 251. Now, we're going to talk about Willie. You already heard me talk about Willie because he's in the West now. He had to leave to go to the Giants on a multi-million-dollar deal. Anyway, I'll get to that later. Rhys Hopkins, another good player, 26 homers, 82 RBIs, 214 batting average, not up to his standards. He's a much better contact hitter than that. Willie Contreras is the catcher, 25 homers, 92 RBIs, 281. Jack Centurio, 21 homers, 79 RBIs, 275.
Yeah.
Rookie came on real strong. Real strong. And, of course, there's always Christian Yelich. Last year he didn't play but half the season, 11 homers, 42 RBIs, hit 315. Christian Yelich is a problem. Christian Yelich was the most valuable player playing for the Marlins, if you can believe that.
Yeah.
That's how good he was. He comes to Milwaukee, can't hit his weight. Can't hit nothing. He's been hurt back here, his arm here. He's a mess. I don't know what the problem is, but it bothers me that a guy that they're paying, multi-million dollars to is not performing. It's unfortunate. Pitching-wise, that Aaron Civale, 6-3, 3.79 ERA. Brian Hudson, 6-1, 1.73 ERA. Jack Koenig, 8-4, 2.47 ERA. Toby Myers, 9-6, 3.00 ERA. And Trevor McGill was their closer, 1-3, 2.72 ERA, 21 saves. You can tell by this right here, these five guys, You can tell that Milwaukee won this division on pitching. That's for sure. Now, we got to go to where they are now.
Yeah.
And they're going to lose Willie Adames.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, they have no free agents. They're already done with everything. Noble acquisitions. Nestor Cortez, the trade to the Yankees. That's nasty, Nestor Cortez.
That's right.
He's going to be missed by the Yankees. Anyway, right-handed pitcher, they got Grant Anderson. Trade with the Rangers. Right-handed pitcher, Elvin Rodriguez, one-year deal to resign him. Left-handed pitcher, Tyler Alexander, one-year deal. Left-handed pitcher, Grant Wolfram, one-year deal. Outfielder, Mark Caja, major league deal, which is a minor league deal. Caja's at the end of his rope, but he's still a very good hitter. Those were the acquisitions. Now the subtractions, the big one, which is Willie Adames. He goes to the Giants for, $192 million, some filthy number. He's a good player, but come on. They lose Devin Williams, their closer. They lose their closer to the Yankees because the Yankees lost their closer, Clay Holmes, to the Mets. So they scrounged one from Milwaukee. Subtractions, right-handed pitcher Frankie Montez got him. The Mets got him now. Catcher Gary Sanchez is with the Orioles. Left-handed pitcher Hobie Milner is with the Rangers. Right-handed pitcher Joe Ross is with the Phillies. Left-handed pitcher Wade Miley to the Reds. Right-handed pitcher Colin Riga to the Cubs. They got some real problems this year, Daniel. They're not gonna win 93 games with a lineup like this. Without Adames hitting off and scoring runs and hitting runs, and Yelich being as off as he is, I don't look for them to be going anywhere. Their pitching is good. I mean, you heard me describe these 5 guys. All of them, average wise, is around 3.0. If you can give up 3 runs a game, in Major League Baseball, you're going to win a lot of games. The only reason they're going to win is because of their pitching.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is you talked about they won last year because of their pitching. You think they're going to win this year with their pitching, but they've also lost some pitchers, and they lost their closer, as you had made note. But nasty Nestor Cortez coming from the Yankees. The question is for the Milwaukee Brewers, will they win this division that is so subpar overall? Will they win it again, or will they truly fit their name and cause their fans to drink being the Brewers? So I guess that's the question that comes through here, PJ. Do you think that with the losses that they have in their pitching that they can still do it? They could still win this division with pitching?
That's a very good question. I don't think they'll win 93 games this year, okay. Even with good pitching. The key is Yelich. I mean, Yelich has been the key for them for 5 years, ever since he left Marlins to come here.
Yeah,
it's not a good situation. I don't feel comfortable with the Brewers at all right now, at all. Although the next team on the docket is the St. Louis Cardinals.
Okay.
No, they're not. Let me see. Yeah, I got the Cardinals.
Okay. All
right, let's talk about them. Last year they were 83 and 79. They're a 500 ball club. Not any better than that. Hitting wise, Paul Goldschmidt, one of my favorite players, 22 homers, 65 RBIs, hit 243. Alex Burleson, 21 homers, 78 RBIs, 269. Nolan Ariando, 16 homers, 71 RBI, 272. He's going to be traded, I'll bet. Wilson Contreras, a catcher, 15 homers, 36 RBIs, hit 262. And Brendan Donovan, 14 homers, 73 RBIs, 278. Now, the Cardinals can hit the ball now. Let's see if they can pitch. They got Sonny Gray at 13 and 9, 3.84 ERA. He's their key. He's their ace.
Yeah.
Got Mike Mikolas, 10 and 11, 5.35 REA. Lance Lynn, been around for years, 7 and 4, 3.84 ERA. And Ryan Hemsley, who I talked about all last year, he's 7 and 4 with a 2.04 ERA, led this Major League Baseball with 49 saves. That's the only reason that the Cardinals are a 500 ball club. And right now, let's see if they got anything coming. They don't have free agents. They got a bunch of free agents that they haven't signed or haven't left yet. Matt Carpenter, right-handed pitcher Kyle Gibson, right-handed pitcher Lance Lynn, who I just described, right-handed pitcher Kenyon Middleton. Something's going on with that. They're not signed, or they haven't been signed by anyone else. Notable acquisitions, none, zero, nada, no good. Notable subtractions, Paul Goldschmidt, one of my favorite players, cornerstone, going to the Yankees. Andrew Kittredge going to the Orioles. I don't see the Cardinals getting out of their own way this year, Daniel. This is not a good offseason. The hot stove leave was very, very cold for the Cardinals this year.
Yeah, and you talk about Paul Goldschmidt. I mean, that's a name that's been out there, and he's had different moves. Going to the Yankees only makes the Yankees better, gives them an opportunity to get some more help out there, some more assistance, Paul, I want to take a look for a second here because you mentioned Paul Goldschmidt. So when we look at the history of Paul Goldschmidt statistically and what he's done, Goldschmidt has been around the block. He's been to different teams, like I stated here. And when we take a look back at his history and now being a New York Yankee, which, like I said, helping them out. Now, he's only a couple years younger than me. I'm 39. He's 37. He was born on September 10th of 1987. He started his career off and spent many years with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He was a rookie with them in 2011 and was with them through 2018. In 2019, he went to the Cardinals, so this is his third team that he will be on. So not many, but he has had, like I said, he's bounced around here with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Looking at his best season runs-wise, 2017, he had 117. Best hit year he had with the Diamondbacks was 182, which he did twice in 2013 and 2015. As far as home runs go, he hit for the Diamondbacks 8 as a rookie, then 20. Then he hit 36, 19, 33, 24, 36, and 33 home runs. Then we take a look at his time with the St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis Cardinals, he had 34 home runs in his first season there in 2019. Then he had 6. He also didn't play. He was injured that year. He only played in 58 games. And then he had 31, 35, 25. And last season he had 22 home runs in 154 games. So most recently here, we're looking at 70 runs, 147 hits, 22 homers, and 65 RBIs for Paul Goldschmidt in 2024. He's been in the league now for 14 seasons. This will be his 15th, I believe. And like I said, as a rookie, he only played 48 games, and then he was injured in he wasn't injured in that season that I'm looking at here right now. That was the COVID year that he played in 58, because that was 2020. So that was the COVID year where he only had a few home runs. That was back during COVID time. So that was the 6 home run year. So that was the shortened season anyways. So he stayed relatively healthy. I mean, as a rookie, they didn't put him out there as much, probably coming up. And so you don't start on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Typically as a rookie, you're not going to start, that you're going to be coming up through the ranks through single A, double A, triple A and whatnot. So he stayed relatively healthy throughout his career. He played 145, 160, 109, 159, 158, 155, 158, 161. COVID year 58, 158, 151, 154, 154. So the Yankees are getting a proven player, and they're getting a guy who is durable. And they say the best, what do they say? The best thing that you could bring to the team is availability. The best ability is availability. So looking at the fact that Goldschmidt is leaving the Cardinals, that's a sad state for them. It's good for the Yankees, gives the Yankees some help to Aaron Judge and company. So we'll see what they could do. But like you said, PJ, we're talking about the Cardinals, not the Yankees. And it's tough to see what the Cardinals have to be excited about right now.
True. Very true. And there isn't a lot to be excited about. And I'll tell you one thing. My opinion, my humble opinion, Paul Goldschmidt is a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
That's how good he is. He is definitely a Hall of Famer. Now, some people say, Papa Joe, no. Marginally a Hall of Famer, I can say that, but on the upper level of a marginally Hall of Famer. He's a terrific ball player and has been a great teammate for many years, and he can only excel being with the Yankees. The only problem I have with Paul Goldschmidt going to the Yankees, and when we get to the Yankees next week, is that he's not used to seeing a lot of American League pitching. Yeah. Sometimes that can screw up a guy, even as good a player as Small Goldschmidt is. If they stick him at third base, he'll stay there for 3 years. He'll probably play till he's 39 and retire. But if he puts up a good number this year, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a name that I wouldn't be surprised if we heard it in the Hall of Fame. Goldschmidt just sounds like it belongs there. PJ, who's the next one that we're going up to here in the NL Central? What's the next team that we have that's up to bat?
We got the Cubs.
Okay.
Last year they were 83 and 79. You heard me compare Craig Counsell's team, the Cubs, against the Brewers. There was a 10-game difference that he left. Now, some people are questioning whether, because of Craig Counsell, the Milwaukee did very well or did not do very well, depending. Now he goes to the Cubs with better hitters, I thought, and he wins less games. So people are saying to me, well, he's not as good a manager as he thinks he is. Maybe he thinks in his own mind. Well, we'll see this year. Let's all go over the Cubs.
No.
Got Ian Happ, 25 homers, 86 RBIs, hit 243. Really good round player. Michael Busch, 21 homers, 65 RBIs, 248 average. Seiya Suzuki, 21 homers, 73 RBIs, 285. Cody Bellinger, 18 homers, 78 RBIs, 266 average. And Dansby Swanson, a hell of a name. Used to be he's still with the Cubs, 16 homers, 66 RBIs, hitting 242. These guys hit well. Let's go to the pitching. A real surprise here this year was Shota Imanga. It was 15-3 with a 2.91 ERA. What a find he was, boy. Justin Steele, 5-5, 3.07 ERA. Jamison Talon, 12-8, 3.27 ERA. And Hunter Norris, 8-4, 3.89 ERA. He had 17 saves. So the pitching isn't all that good, but the Cubs can sure hit. Let's go. They got one free agent, Drew Smiley. He's a left-handed pitcher. Apparently, he's still with them. No one signed him, and he hasn't re-upped with them. Their acquisitions, the Cubs. Outfielder Kyle Tucker from the Astros. Big mistake by the Astros part. This guy is an all-around good player. Hits well. Feels exceptionally well. Big mistake by the trading with the Astros. Acquisition, left-handed pitcher Matthew Boyd. Got a 2-year deal. Right-handed pitcher Ryan Pressey. Trade with the Astros. Right-handed pitcher Eli Morgan. They got with the trade with the Guardians. Catcher Carson Kelly. He signed a 2-year deal. First baseman Justin Turner, 1-year deal. Now, Justin Turner is about as old as dirt. He's 40 years old, and he's still playing ball. But he's playing it a year at a time. Everyone wants to sign. He's a rent slugger, like Josh Bell. Justin Turner's been around a long time. He's 40 years old. Hell of a player. Left-handed pitcher Caleb Thieber, they got on a 1-year deal. Right-handed pitcher Ryan Brazier, they trade with the Dodgers. Right-handed pitcher Colin Ria, they got a 1-year deal on. Third baseman John Berti, a 1-year deal. Right-handed pitcher Cody Potet, trade with the Yankees. Utility infielder Vidal Bojan, a trade with the Marlins. Infielder Nicky Lopez, a major league deal, a cheap deal, probably a minor leaguer. Most of these players are not going to do anything for the Cubs, but the subtractions is a big deal. Cody Bellinger, who's he go with? He goes with the Yankees. Losing Cody Bellinger, he was first baseman, left-handed hitter, big mistake. Right-handed pitcher Kyle Hendricks goes to the Angels. Outfielder Mike Troutman goes to the White Sox. Right-handed pitcher Jorge Lopez goes to the Nationals. We talked about him. Third baseman Isaac Paredes, trade with the Astros. Right-handed pitcher Hayden Wisnowski, trade with the Astros. All in all, I got to say that the Cubs got some players, a lot of players. They lost some players, but it's not enough, I don't think, Daniel. It's not enough. The Cubs need some firepower. That's about all I can say right now. I mean, the pitching is fair. Yeah. And if this kid Imanga come back and throw like he did last year, 15-3 with a 2.91 ERA, he's going to be an all-star. So all in all, it's going to be tough for the Cubs. But Craig Counsell, this may be the year he shines as a manager. They're going to say, well, I did it at Milwaukee all these years, and I can do it at Chicago.
Yeah, we're going to see. Doing it without Cody Bellinger, another guy going to the Yankees. So People are excited. In the early voting, I just put this poll up while you were talking about it. Who will win the NL Central in the 2025 Major League Baseball season? Brewers, Cardinals, Cubs, Reds, or the Pirates? And the early voting, we just put it up. Early voting is for the Chicago Cubs, so they believe in Craig Counsell and what he can do. So we shall see if it's going to work out here with Chicago and the Cubs like it did in Milwaukee with the Brewers. But like you said, Cody Bellinger being gone. I mean, apparently, of the last two teams that we talked about, Paul Goldschmidt from the St. Louis Cardinals and Cody Bellinger from the Chicago Cubs, it seems like the Yankees are using the NL Central as their farm system. So this is a little bit of an interesting situation here with the Cubs. Who's next, PJ? Go ahead.
I think next week we'll probably start with the Yankees. This will probably all come together a little bit.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to spend an hour and a half on the Yankees. Here's the question, though, that comes up. Who do we have next? Are you going with the Reds? Or are you going with the ones that are raiding people, them Pirates? Where are you going?
I'm going with the Pirates.
Okay. What do you got?
Last year, listen to me. Last year, they were 76 and 86. Hitting wise, you got Brian Reynolds at 24 homers, 88 RBIs, at 275. Good all around player. Doesn't get enough credit. Pittsburgh, O'Neill Cruz, 21 homers, 76 RBIs, 259. Andrew McCutchen, been around for years. He's gonna retire as a Pirate probably after this year. 20 homers, 50 RBIs, hit 232. He's on the end of his career. Rowdy Tellez used to be with the Brewers also. Hit 13 homers, 56 RBIs, in 248. Pitching. Well, the kid that we talked about most of the year last year when he got signed was Paul Skeens. National League Rookie of the Year, 11-3, 1.96 ERA. And this kid is plain, flat, and nasty.
Yeah.
He's young, he's tall and strong. And what is he doing? He worked over the winter. He's come up with a couple more pitches, as if he needs a couple more pitches. Come on, Paul. Give the guys a break. You got Mitch Keller at 11-12, 4.25 ERA. Jared Jones, 6-8, 4.14 ERA. Bailey Felter, 8-9, 4.43 ERA. And Adonis Chaplin, 5-5, 3.79 ERA. Other than Skeens, the rest of these guys couldn't get me out, for crying out loud. They're terrible. Yeah. So not a lot to talk about with Pittsburgh, Daniel. Not a lot to talk about, except, a swan song for Andrew McCutchen, who he deserves.
Well, the thing is, Paul Skeens, I mean, he's been incredible. I want to give Brendan Murphy, who's with me for DT and Murphy, I want to give him some credit that he was buying up Paul Skeens cards like crazy, getting those rookie cards, grading the cards, getting the autograph cards and the special colored cards and all that stuff, and selling all those because he felt good about Skeens coming up, and he tries to do that prospecting. So, yeah, I mean, Skeens has been great. The question becomes is how long does it take until Skeens becomes a Yankee? Or, something of that.
That's a good question.
Right? Is he going to be a Yankee? Is he going to be a Dodger? Is he going to be a Philly? I mean, that's what unfortunately happens with a lot of these franchises, like the Pittsburgh Pirates, is they find somebody who's really great. And the Nationals with Bryce Harper. You find someone who's really, really good, and he spends his time there, and then eventually he moves on. Shohei Ohtani from the Angels of LA to the Dodgers of LA. So, we'll see. Unfortunately, when I think about Paul Skeens, I go, yeah, he's a Pirate now, but my head is already thinking about his market when he becomes a free agent. Because if Pittsburgh goes, hey, let's extend you, I feel like Skeens is going to be like, let me see what's out there, because there's 30 franchises. I'm guessing 29 are going to send me offers besides the Pirates. So as long as Skeens keeps doing what he does, and like you said, off season, learning some new pitches. I got to get myself I got to get some graded stuff, some autographed. I did get my first Paul Skeens rookie card. I do have that. So Skeens, keep doing what you're doing. PJ, the last team to go to is a team that is also named after gum that I used to have as a child, and the fans have been seeing this color. The Cincinnati, don't call me Reds, that big red gum that I used to have as a kid. The Cincinnati Reds, PJ. What do we think about them? Will the Reds be seeing wins? Will the Reds be seeing frustration? Will the Reds have anything to write home about when it comes down to this situation? And the bigger question, do the Reds have anybody to offer the Yankees next offseason?
Well, we're going to talk about probably one of the most exciting players in baseball a little bit here. Last year, they were 77-85, and we're talking about Eli De La Cruz. He is another sensational new player, young player. He hit 25 homers, 76 RBIs, hit 259, and stole 67 bases. This kid's a rookie. Was barely a rookie, barely out of the Caribbean. Of course, he can't speak English, but, who cares? You can steal 67 bases. We got James Candelario, hit 20 homers, 56 RBIs, hit 225. Spencer Steer, good all-around player, 20 homers, 92 RBIs, 225 average.
Yeah.
Ty Stevenson, 19 homers, 66 RBIs, 258 average. And Jonathan India, go Gators, 15 homers, 58 RBIs, 248 average. Pitching-wise, they got Hunter Green, 9-5, 2.75 ERA. Nick Lodelo, 9-6, 4.76 ERA. Nick Martinez, 10-7, 3.10 ERA. Andy Abbott, 10-10, 3.72 ERA. And Alex Diaz was 2-5, 3.99 ERA. He's your closer. He had 28 RBIs. Daniel, there's not a lot to talk about with Cincinnati, except for Eli De La Cruz.
Yeah.
His first game in the spring training, he hit 2 home runs, 1 from each side of the plate.
Yeah.
That's talent.
Yeah.
Now, let's go to see what they've done. Acquisitions, they got Nick Martinez, who we talked about, accepting a qualifying offer. Right-handed pitcher Brady Singer, go Gators, trade with the Royals. I hated to see that go.
Yeah.
Because the Royals are a really, really good team. And they gave up a frontline pitcher. Don't like that. Second baseman Gavin Lux, trade with the Dodgers. Taylor Reynolds, trade with the Giants. Outfielder Austin Hayes, signed on a 1-year deal. Left-handed pitcher Wade Miley, nasty pitcher, got a major league deal. Catcher Jose Trevino goes to the Yankees. Right-handed pitcher Scott Barlow, 1-year deal. Subtractions? Well, left-handed pitcher Justin Wilson goes to the Red Sox. Second baseman Jonathan India, who I just talked about, goes to the Royals.
Yeah.
First baseman Ty France goes to the Twins. Shortstop Ahmed Rosario goes to the Nationals. Right-handed pitcher Jacob Junis to the Guardians. Outfielder Joey Weimer, trade with the Royals. Well, Cincinnati, frankly, will go as far as Eli's talented legs and arms will take them.
Yeah. And you know what? And I have this card here, and you mentioned Ellie De La Cruz here, and so of the Cincinnati Reds. This, unfortunately, I sent it to get graded. It only got an 8 out of a 10 from PSA, but I have the rookie card of Ellie De La Cruz here, and it is already encapsulated by PSA. So when you were talking about Ellie, I was like, I got to have his card here ready for me. I have some other ones. I got another raw card, which isn't graded yet, and I think I sold one at GG Cards and Breaks Trade Night this past Thursday that we do monthly at GG Cards and Breaks, so make sure you check it out. So Ellie De La Cruz, he is in the studio, PJ, and you just said it. You talked about the offseason moves. Another person from the NL Central, this time for the Cincinnati Reds, went to the Yankees. That means the Yankees have taken someone from at least 3 of the 5 teams inside of the NL Central. Again, it is the Yankees farm system. So De La Cruz, the question becomes, is he going to find a place at some point? I can imagine if he continues to play well, he's a massive prospect. So we'll see what he does for the Reds, and if the Reds can win, I'm going to ask PJ this. I already know the answer. PJ, do you think the Reds have a shot this season?
I think that they're a 500 ball club.
Okay.
but Dela Cruz is so much talent that he's worth probably 8 or 10 runs just by himself. Dela Cruz, you only got an 8 on that card. That's not a brand new card, then, is it?
No,
is it a brand new card?
It's a rookie card. I had it. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm like, maybe the top right corner, but it got an 8 out of 10 from PSA. Sometimes it's who you get. I mean, sometimes they're really good about it, and other times you stare at the card and go, really? But I mean, it's encapsulated, so that's good.
I know, but as much as you trade, though, and he's a rookie last year. Someone shouldn't have beat up the card already to get an 8, you know? Yeah. That's too bad. Yeah. To answer your question, I think that they're a 500 ball club, and they will go as far as Mr. Dela Cruz will take them.
Yeah, coming from Papa Joe, we are going to take a final step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. When we come back, we will talk about 2 rule changes that you need to know as baseball fans heading into 2025. That's coming up right after this.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand butter chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday Thursday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. You can find them by simply going to 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off of Teal Ave. Hockey, soccer, baseball, basketball, football, Disney Lorcana, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Garbage Pail Kids. You'll find all kinds of stuff at GG Cards and Breaks, as well as all the supplies you need to protect your cards, showcase your cards, trade your cards, make them look pretty and nice, and keep them safe. All that great stuff is at GG Cards and Breaks. If you've never collected before, you will have everything you need in a one-stop shop. And if you've been collecting forever, well, you're about to add to your collection today. They just got in a bunch of new inventory in Topps Midnight Basketball. came in and came out today, and literally within the hour was released on site. First come, first serve. Better get yourself over there. 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Tuesday through Saturday, GG Cards and Breaks open from 10 to 6, and on Sundays from 10 to 5. Let them know that DT sent you. With that being said, PJ and I have one more task today, and that is to go over the rule changes in Major League Baseball. And I will head to the first rule adjustment and my notes. PJ's not the only one with notes. So
that's good, Daniel.
My first note that I have here is going to go to one of the rules about the shift. Teams cannot have more than 2 infielders on either side of second base when a pitch is thrown. So, in other words, you can't put 3 infielders, for example, on the right side against a heavy pull lefty. If a player violated this last season, the penalty was accepting the result of the play or getting an automatic ball or giving an automatic ball to the batter. The rule change is much harsher on defenses. Now, starting in 2025, a team violating the shift rule will see the batter granted first base for free, and any base runner will move ahead of base. The fielder will be charged an error, and the batter will not get a plate appearance. So it's as if the batter was never at the plate. There will be an error that will be charged to the fielder. So that's what's happening now in the shift rule, PJ. They're so adamant that you can't have more than 2 infielders on either side of second base that if you do it this season, they're going to give first base for free, and they're going to move the other runners ahead if need be. Your thoughts?
Well, the managers are going to find a way around that, Daniel. I know they are. But you're correct in saying that for someone like, for instance, Carlos Schwarber is a left-handed batter, and they got the third baseman playing behind second base. Second baseman's playing in a hole. First baseman's playing off the bat. You got 3 guys over there. I remember learning baseball, and especially when I was coaching with the kids, is that you always had to learn to chop the tree down. Chop the tree down. Drop the tree down. And if you do that and you're a little bit late on a pitch, you go opposite direction for that. I don't know why these major league players don't do that more often. Everyone's concerned about getting the ball in the air and getting a home run. If you're Kyle Schwarber and you want to get on base, then check your swing and dump one in the left field, and they won't do that a couple times. They won't do it again. So it's up to the managers to come up with some angle. But it has no place in baseball. Third base, you play third base. Shortstop, you play between the 2 bags. Second baseman, you play second baseman. First baseman, you play first base. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, well, and now it's going to be harsher if teams don't do it. Second rule change that we have, give you some background on it. There was this scenario last season of having a runner on first and third with 2 outs. And there's a ground ball that causes the defense to grab the forced play at second in order to end the inning. If the play at second base is close, teams were having their runners run past second base as if it were first base. If that player beat the throw at second and was ruled safe, then the runner on third would score a run before the third out. The runner going through the bag at second would be ruled out of the baseline, and it would be the third out, but the run would still score. So there's a runner on first, there's a runner on third, you got a force out at second, and if the person running to second beats the throw, touches the bag, and is ruled safe, then they would just keep running as if it were first base. They would leave the baseline, but they would run through it trying to beat that force out in the time that somebody from third was running home. So even though it would be the third out, you would get a run, which made no sense. How can you get a run on the third out? So here's where it is now. The runner going into 2025 cannot sprint through the bag like it's first base when they're going to second base. Now, or any other base. So instead, the runner will need to go back and treat the play like they normally would at second, and they would either have to hold the bag or round it and head toward the next base. the replay official now has the ability to rule whether or not the runner heading through second base in this scenario has abandoned the baseline before the runner scores. If the replay official deems that this is the case, the run will not count. So if they continue to run through second base like it's first base, the replay official has the right to look at that moment where the person running to second base in this scenario, if they abandon the baseline before the runner scores, then the run will not count. So you can still try to cheat this rule. You can still try to score on a third out, but the replay official has the right to go back and look at it and see, did the runner from third cross the home bag before the person running to second crosses that bag? If that's true, then the run's not going to count. So it doesn't totally get rid of it, PJ, and it doesn't dismiss it, but now we're going to have to look at that photo finish, and guys running to second and running from third to home are going to have their timing down, because the guy that's going from third is going to have to hit the bag before it's deemed that the person running to second abandons the baseline.
Stupid. First of all, you're taught as a player not to run through the bag at second base.
Yeah.
The only bag you run through is first. If you run through the bag at second base, you try to make a turn, you're gonna be tagged out. Now, of course, the runner from third can try to score, but if I'm a shifty second baseman and I'm looking at all the time at the runner at third, and this guy's barreling down at me, and you think, I don't think I can make this play. Well, you stop what you're doing and whip it to home and tag the guy out. I mean, this is difficulty. This is difficult. Look, especially if there's only one out, Daniel. If there's one out, there's a man on third base, man on first, man on third base, one out, and you have to play for a double play ball. You don't want your manager is not going to ask you to run through the bag. Yeah. He's going to ask you to slide and try to take out the second baseman or shortstop before it comes to first, before you get double that guy up.
Yeah,
that's baseball, not running through a bag. I always taught my kids, you slide. If you can take out the second baseman or shortstop, whoever's covering, you take them out. That's all. But you can't slide outside the bag lane. You can't do that. Then you'll be called out. But slide right into the bag, upset the second baseman or shortstop, and you may have a run.
Yeah, it was very confusing to me last season to watch somebody run through second base like it was first base, and I was like, am I missing something? Because you can't do that. And it was like, no, he did it. So now they're trying to alleviate that, because if you can run through first and you can run through second, then soon enough you're going to be able to run through third, and it's all going to kind of look weird to people that know the traditional baseball that we know. PJ, as always, I appreciate it. We continue to prep you for the MLB season coming up in 2025. We've given you the NL West. Today we gave you the NL East and the NL Central. You can have all of these split up by division on all of our channels. So the NL West is already up. You can find these broadcasts breaking down teams by division for 2025. Each of them is a separate divisional show on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and of course you can watch the video on YouTube. PJ, as always, it is my honor and my privilege. Thank you for hanging with us, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
Okay, hope you feel better.
Thank you. Love to you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. That coming from Papa Joe here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. And I want to thank you for tuning in today and being a part of the show. And come on now, what are we looking for? Are we looking for new? We're looking for used. And you can find their vast array of vehicles by going to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Jerry said, absolutely fantastic. What's not to love about this? Love you too, Jerry. Very, very much so. So thanks for tuning in. By the way, polling, Jerry, you'll be happy with this. Well, actually, you wouldn't be happy with this because the Phillies are winning. Pardon me. So who will win the NL East? Vote in our polls on Twitter, or X, the former Twitter. Vote on it today at CallDT. That's CALLDT. Who is going to win the NL East in 2025? 42.9% say Mets. 42.9% say Phillies. 14.3% say the Braves. And in our other poll, who's going to win the NL Central? Our votes were all Cubs. Now we got some Brewers. Nobody's voted for the Cardinals. 66.7% say Cubs, and 33.3% say the Brewers. With that being said, thank you for watching and listening to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.com, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, I want to give a special thanks once again to all the wonderful places that you could find us by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. Of course, from North Carolina, we have Brooklyn Pickle. Coming from New York down to North Carolina, the Brooklyn Pickle bringing their flavors to Southern Pines. They're fantastic, to me, should be world-renowned sandwiches. Soups and salads are now in Southern Pines at 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Go visit Brooklyn Pickle down in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Let them know that DT sent you. And, of course, a big thanks to our team of partners in Central and Upstate New York. Great Lakes, Honda City, Carvel, DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, Avicoli's, Servomation, Mother's Cupboard, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Pizza Man, Brian's Landing, and we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Dolphins on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and find all of our content on YouTube.com /WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell. Find our Lemoyne playlist. The Dolphins are also on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. Remember, Giving Day is next week, and Fins Up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find the Bobcats and what we call the Bobcat Buzz every single month. All of our content on YouTube.com /WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find the BSC Syracuse playlist. You can also find the Bobcats by going to WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to Syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find the Bearcats during Bearcat Time every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time worldwide. You will find the Bearcats, and of course you can find all of our content by going to youtube.com /WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find the Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to BinghamtonBearcats.com and go Bearcats. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, thanks for watching and listening. Thanks to Papa Joe. Thanks to all of you from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. And, of course, as we always say on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, God bless, no stress. Do your best. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe.